You've probably been told that creating your dream life takes hard work. Not just in the material sense, but in the spiritual sense too. That you need to master complex rituals, visualize every single day, recite affirmations with perfect phrasing, and constantly raise your vibration if you want to attract what you desire. But what if that entire approach is based on a fundamental misunderstanding? What if quantum manifestation, the real process of bringing your desired reality into form, isn't complex at all? What if it's actually shockingly simple? So simple, in fact, that most people completely miss it. Here's the truth. You are already living in a quantum field, right now. This field is infinite, boundless. It contains every possible version of you, every possible outcome, every possible life you could live. And within that infinite field, the version of your life that you want already exists. This isn't a metaphor. It's how reality works on a quantum level. And contrary to what you've been taught, the field doesn't respond to how much effort you exert. It doesn't reward the one who tries the hardest or suffers the most. It doesn't care about your hustle. What the quantum field responds to is something far more subtle and powerful: alignment. And this is where most people go wrong. They approach manifestation like a fight. They try to overpower their current reality with sheer mental force. They repeat affirmations they don't believe. They visualize futures they secretly doubt. They force themselves to stay positive, even when their body is stuck in fear, tension, and scarcity. But in the language of the quantum, forcing is friction. Trying harder doesn't get you there faster. It just adds noise to your signal. So let's strip all this down to what really matters. Quantum manifestation isn't about chasing what you want. It's about collapsing into the version of reality where it already exists. It's not about changing the external world. It's about aligning your internal state so completely that the version of reality you desire is magnetized to you, automatically, naturally. The field holds all versions: success and failure, abundance and lack, love and loneliness, health and disease. Every possibility exists simultaneously as a wave. But that wave only becomes real, only collapses into form, when it encounters a coherent observer. That's you. Your attention, your emotion, your expectation, your energetic state. You are the sculptor of your reality. But here's the problem. Most people are caught in loops of fear and lack. They focus on what's missing while trying to attract more. They try to manifest abundance while emotionally vibrating scarcity. They say they want love while secretly fearing rejection. So what does the field do? It reflects back their true signal. Not their words, not their conscious thoughts, but their embodied energy. Because the field isn't judging you, it's just mirroring you. Exactly, precisely, neutrally. And in that mirror, neediness is repulsion. Chasing pushes things away. Trying to force your desires into reality actually signals to the field that you don't have them, and that you don't trust they're coming. And the field, in turn, keeps giving you more of that lack. Here's the paradox. The moment you stop needing something so desperately is often the moment it arrives. Because you finally clear the static. You stop sending contradictory signals. You relax into receptivity. Think about it. Have you ever experienced something falling into place effortlessly? You met the right person without trying. An idea came to you out of nowhere. An opportunity showed up when you weren't looking for it. That's not coincidence. That's coherence in action. In those moments, you weren't forcing, you weren't clinging. You were open, relaxed, available. You were in alignment with the version of you that receives, rather than the version that chases. And this brings us to the heart of quantum manifestation. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. It doesn't matter how many affirmations you say if your nervous system is locked in fear. It doesn't matter how beautiful your vision board is if your body is still bracing for disappointment. You are not creating from the mind alone. You are creating from your whole system. Your beliefs, emotions, breath, posture, subconscious, and energetic field. So the question isn't, what do I want to manifest? The real question is, what am I broadcasting right now? What frequency are you holding? When you're not trying to control it, when you're just being. Because that's the signal the universe is responding to. That's the version of reality that's being drawn to you. So if you've been chasing, pushing, grinding, clinging, pause. Take a breath. Soften. Because that pressure, that desperate need to make it happen, that's static in your field. And static blocks manifestation. The key is clarity, not effort. Coherence, not hustle. Precision, not volume. When your internal state matches the frequency of the reality you desire, there is no need to chase. That reality begins to move toward you, naturally, inevitably, and often unexpectedly. So ask yourself, am I broadcasting alignment or attachment? Because the universe isn't responding to your wish list. It's responding to your signal. So now that we've established the quantum field reflects your signal, not your words, not your effort, but your energetic state, the real question becomes this: how do you actually shift into the version of yourself who already has what you want? If the quantum field holds all possibilities, and if who you are is what determines which version of reality collapses into form, then your greatest tool isn't strategy, it's self-coherence. Let's go back to the observer effect. In quantum physics, particles don't exist in a defined state until they're observed. They exist in a wave function, a cloud of infinite potential, and the moment they are observed, the wave collapses into one concrete outcome. That observation isn't just a glance, it's focused attention, it's energy, it's intention. But here's the part most people miss. In the context of manifestation, you are not just the observer, you're also the lens, the filter, the interpreter. And the field responds not only to what you observe consciously, but what you observe unconsciously. Let that sink in. Even when your logical mind is focused on abundance, your subconscious might still be looping stories like, money is hard to get. People like me never make it. It's not safe to succeed. And those deeper narratives? They're observing too. They're generating emotional and energetic reactions that influence the field far more than your daily affirmations ever could. That's because your subconscious controls over 90% of your daily behavior, emotional responses, and decision-making. It's the silent operator behind the scenes, and it's constantly sending out a signal. So if your subconscious is still tuned to fear, guilt, shame, or scarcity, it doesn't matter how much you visualize success, you're still broadcasting misalignment. This is why so many people feel like manifestation is broken. They've done the vision boards. They've recited the affirmations. They've tried to feel grateful. But nothing changes. Why? Because they're trying to create a new reality with an old internal frequency. They're focused on the outer performance instead of the inner programming. And the field responds to your dominant signal, not your occasional intention. Now let's talk about the body. Your body is not just a container for your mind, it's part of your energetic broadcasting system. Every sensation, every tight muscle, every shallow breath is part of your message to the field. For instance, you might be telling yourself, I trust the process. But if your shoulders are tense, your chest is tight, and your breath is short and rapid, you're sending out the signal of threat, not trust. And the quantum field? It listens to the body first. This is why nervous system regulation is essential to manifestation. You can't create a life of ease if your body is in survival mode. You can't receive abundance if you're bracing for disappointment. You can't access love while your nervous system is still wired to avoid intimacy. The real shift happens not in the mind, but in the body. When your thoughts, emotions, and physiology come into alignment, that's coherence. That's what collapses timelines. Let's go deeper. Did you know your heart emits an electromagnetic field up to 5,000 times stronger than your brain? This field extends several feet beyond your body and interacts with the environment around you, including other people, and yes, the quantum field itself. When your brain and heart are in sync, when your thoughts match your feelings, you emit a strong, clear, harmonious signal. But when they're out of sync, when you think one thing and feel another, your field becomes disorganized. You can say, I'm open to love, but if your heart is still guarded, if your body still remembers betrayal, If your nervous system expects abandonment, then you're sending mixed signals, and mixed signals lead to mixed results. This is the difference between people who try to manifest and those who naturally draw things in. It's not that some people are lucky, it's that their internal system is aligned. They've become the frequency of what they want before it arrives. So how do you get there? You don't fake it, you don't bypass, you regulate. Start by noticing what you feel in your body when you think about your desires. Do you feel open and calm, or tight and hesitant? Then breathe into that space. Don't fight the fear. Don't suppress the doubt. Feel it and shift it. The key is presence. The more present you are, the more power you hold. Because presence brings awareness, and awareness gives you the opportunity to respond differently. Let's say you want to manifest wealth. You can write it in your journal. You can visualize the dream house. You can say, "I am rich," all day long. But if you still feel unsafe with money, if your stomach tightens every time you think about bills, if you shrink when someone talks about success, you're not aligned. And the solution isn't to push through. It's to pause and regulate, to breathe, to soften, to remind your system. It's safe to receive. This is how you shift your baseline. This is how you teach your body to feel what you want before it happens. And that's what sends a powerful message to the field. This is who I am now. From there, manifestation becomes less about trying and more about allowing. You don't chase, you don't grip, you don't control. You embody, you attract, you let the field mirror your coherence back to you. And when you live this way consistently, magic starts to happen. Not because you forced it, but because you finally became the version of you who was always ready to receive it. By now, you're starting to see that manifestation isn't about wanting more. It's about becoming more aligned. It's not about begging the universe or trying harder. It's about tuning your inner frequency to match the life you want so clearly, so consistently, that the quantum field has no choice but to reflect it back. But here's where most people hit the wall. They intellectually understand alignment. They know about visualization, about staying positive, about feeling into the future they want. They've read the books, taken the courses, followed the gurus, and yet, they still feel like nothing's moving. Why? Because deep down, they haven't shifted from a mindset of getting to a state of being. They're still chasing the thing, still striving, still measuring how close they are to the outcome. And as we've seen, that energy of chasing is exactly what keeps it away. The quantum field doesn't operate on the logic of linear effort. It operates on the law of resonance. And in that law, you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are a match for. So the real art here is simple, but not easy. You must feel like it's already yours before it arrives. You must become the version of you who lives in that reality. Not someday, but now. Let's pause and make this practical. Think of something you deeply want, something that still feels far away. Maybe it's a loving relationship. Maybe it's financial freedom. Maybe it's full body confidence. Maybe it's peace. Now ask yourself, if I already had it, if I was living that life today, how would I feel? Would you feel safe, expansive, grounded, free, grateful? That emotion, that feeling, is the key. Because that emotion is the energetic frequency of the timeline you want. And your job is to generate that emotion now, before anything changes outside of you. That's the quantum move. Most people wait until their reality gives them permission to feel the way they want. I'll feel abundant when I make more money. I'll feel worthy when someone chooses me. I'll feel powerful when I succeed. The field doesn't respond to that logic. It doesn't operate on timelines or conditions. It responds to frequency. And the more you anchor the frequency now, the more the field starts collapsing realities to match it. Let's take love as an example. You can write down every trait of your ideal partner. You can visualize romantic moments. You can make vision boards, chant affirmations, and swipe through dating apps. But if deep down you're still holding on to wounds, feeling unlovable, bracing for disappointment, protecting your heart, then that's the frequency you're emitting. And the field reflects it back by giving you more longing, more searching, more almost connections that don't quite land. Not because the universe is punishing you, but because you haven't yet become the version of you who's available for real love. And becoming that version isn't about pretending. It's about embodying the state you want to live in, even when your external world hasn't caught up. If you want love, become love. If you want wealth, move like someone who trusts they'll always be provided for. If you want peace, breathe like someone who already lives in stillness. Because the field doesn't need evidence, it needs a clear signal. That's when reality starts to reorganize. That's when synchronicities show up. That's when the random call comes in. That's when opportunities align so precisely it feels like magic. But it's not magic, it's mechanics. The field is simply mirroring your coherence. Let's pause again and go inward. Right now, in this moment, without trying to fix anything, can you soften? Can you breathe into your body? Can you let go of needing to figure it all out, just for now? Because sometimes it's not about doing more. It's about getting out of your own way. You are not meant to push, grind, and prove your worth to the universe. You're meant to tune into the truth that it's already within you. This is the power of embodiment. When your internal state stabilizes, when you're no longer swinging between doubt and desperation, you become magnetic. And that magnetism isn't forced. It's natural. It's a side effect of alignment. So what does this look like day to day? It starts small. When you wake up, before reaching for your phone, ask, what energy do I want to broadcast today? Don't think of it as a to-do list. Think of it as a state of being list. Maybe you choose ease. Maybe you choose confidence. Maybe you choose joy. Then throughout the day, check in with your body. Not to judge yourself, but to recalibrate. When you feel tension, pause. When you catch fear creeping in, breathe. When your thoughts spiral into lack, return to presence. And before bed, reflect, not with shame or pressure, but with curiosity. Where did you wobble? Where did you align? Where did you show up as your future self, even if just for a moment? Because that's what this is, a practice, not perfection, not performance, practice. You don't need to get it right every time. You just need to keep coming back, again and again, breath by breath, signal by signal. The truth is, the future you're dreaming of already exists. The quantum field isn't withholding it from you. It's waiting for your coherence to catch up. And the moment you stop asking, when will it happen, and start living as if it already has, that's when the shift happens. That's when the wave collapses. That's when your reality begins to reflect what you've known in your heart all along. It was never about reaching for the dream. It was about remembering that you already are it. At this point, you've probably realized something. Manifestation isn't about wishful thinking or spiritual effort. It's about alignment with precision. The clearer your internal signal, the faster your external world starts to mirror it. But if that's true, then why do so many people still feel stuck, looping in frustration even when they're doing everything right? Because alignment isn't just emotional, it's structural. It's not enough to feel good for 5 minutes during a meditation, then go back to living from fear, doubt, or control the rest of the day. The field doesn't respond to your highlight reel. It responds to your baseline. That's why shifting your identity is the most powerful move you can make. Not changing who you are fundamentally, but returning to who you were before the world taught you fear. Let's talk about identity. Your identity is the sum of the stories you believe about yourself, consciously or not. I'm the one who always gets overlooked. I'm not good with money. I don't have what it takes. These stories aren't just thoughts, they become your energetic GPS. And if those beliefs remain unexamined, they quietly steer your entire life. The quantum field is always listening, and when your identity is locked into lack, struggle, or self-doubt, your reality mirrors that back with startling consistency. So the real transformation isn't about getting things. It's about becoming someone new. Not in the sense of pretending or posturing, but in choosing a new identity aligned with the reality you want. The version of you who's already in love doesn't carry the same walls. The version of you who's already wealthy doesn't live in chronic fear of bills. The version of you who's already confident doesn't apologize for existing. Becoming that version is a choice you make every single day, not once you arrive, but now, when the evidence is still missing. Here's the trap. Most people think they need to wait for proof before they shift. I'll feel abundant once I have more money. I'll feel secure when I'm in a relationship. I'll trust myself after I've succeeded. But that's not how the field works. The field responds to cause, not effect. You must generate the signal before you see the result. You must decide that you are that version now. This is the leap most people avoid because it requires faith, not blind belief, but energetic trust in the unseen. That's what embodiment really is. Living now as if it's already true. Not faking it, not forcing it, but choosing to feel, breathe, move, and act from the frequency of already done. This is not a mindset trick. It's an energetic shift. When you consistently show up as the future version of yourself, you begin collapsing timelines. Reality reorganizes around your new frequency, and it happens faster than logic can explain. So, what does that look like in real life? It means you stop waiting for permission. You stop holding your breath until the external world confirms your inner worth. You stop delaying your alignment until you deserve it. Instead, you begin treating your body like it belongs to someone who loves themselves. You start making choices like someone who trusts life. You create boundaries like someone who knows their value. You speak like someone who expects to be heard. This is what creates the energetic consistency that the field can finally respond to. Let's be clear. This doesn't mean you'll never wobble. You're human. Fear, doubt, frustration, they'll still show up. But your job isn't to avoid them. Your job is to become someone who knows how to return to alignment. That's real power. That's stability. That's the kind of coherence that turns possibility into reality. When the old timeline tries to pull you back, when the scarcity hits, when someone ghosts you, when the job falls through, you don't panic. You pause. You breathe. And you ask yourself, am I going to let this define me? Or am I going to hold the frequency of who I've decided to become? That moment right there, that's where timelines diverge. Because when you hold your new identity long enough, your subconscious begins to rewire. Your nervous system learns that it's safe to feel peace without chaos following. Your body learns to relax without needing proof. Your emotional set point rises. And suddenly, you're not manifesting from lack. You're manifesting from overflow. This is why emotional regulation is not optional. Manifestation isn't about feeling good all the time. It's about knowing how to come back to alignment when you're triggered. Most people either collapse under emotional stress or suppress it completely. But neither creates coherence. Real power is learning to witness your emotions without letting them hijack your signal. You can feel grief and still hold trust. You can feel rage and still stay grounded. You can feel uncertainty and still remain available to possibility. That balance is emotional maturity. And it's one of the clearest signals the field can read. In practical terms, it means you learn to notice your patterns without judgment. You recognize when you're looping in fear and bring yourself back, not through force, but through compassion. You don't need to become emotionless. You need to become emotionally fluent. The field isn't looking for perfection. It's looking for consistency, and consistency is built one conscious breath at a time. You might be wondering, but how do I know I'm on the right path? The answer isn't in the results. It's in the resonance. Do you feel more peaceful, even when nothing outside has changed? Do you recover faster from old triggers? Do you find yourself making decisions that feel like they belong to a more expanded version of you? If so, you're already shifting. The wave is already collapsing. Remember, quantum manifestation isn't about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. It's not a technique. It's a way of existing. And when you live this way, Anchored in the version of you who already has it, life begins to meet you in ways you could never have planned. So now you're walking a new path. You're not waiting for life to prove your worth. You're not hustling to earn alignment. You're living from it. You're learning how to return to coherence when things wobble. You're choosing your future self before the evidence shows up. And this is where true mastery begins. Because let's be honest, life will still test you. The old version of your reality won't disappear overnight. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when fear knocks, when nothing seems to change, and you'll be tempted to fall back into control, to force, to micromanage. That's the critical moment. That's the edge of your old timeline. Can you stay in trust when things don't look like they're working? Can you hold your chosen frequency even when the world is still catching up? That's the real initiation. Anyone can feel confident when everything's flowing. But real magnetism is built when you hold your alignment through uncertainty. Not by bypassing it, but by meeting it with grounded presence. This is where emotional resilience becomes a superpower. The ability to witness discomfort without collapsing. The ability to feel triggered and still choose a coherent response. The ability to sit in the unknown without letting the old story reclaim you. Most people spiral when reality doesn't give them immediate proof. They interpret the delay as rejection. But the field isn't rejecting you. It's recalibrating around you. And the more you embody the version of you who already has what they want, the faster that recalibration happens. This is why tiny practices matter. Your morning breathwork, your midday check-ins, the way you speak to yourself in private. These are not small things. They're the architecture of your frequency. You're not manifesting once in a while. You're broadcasting all the time. The question is, are you broadcasting who you've been or who you've decided to become? Let's get practical. Every morning before you check your phone, take a few deep breaths. Tune in. Ask, what energy am I embodying today? Is it trust, abundance, peace, power? Choose it on purpose. Then move through your day as if that energy is your anchor. Use your body as a compass. It will tell you when you've slipped out of alignment. You'll feel tension, contraction, resistance. That's not failure, it's feedback. Pause, breathe, shift, ask, what would the version of me I'm becoming do right now? And then do that. Not to perform, but to reinforce the signal. At night, reflect. Not with shame, but with presence. Where did I wobble? Where did I align? Where did I glimpse my future self showing up? Acknowledge the smallest wins. They compound. They rewire. They become your new baseline. And here's something most people underestimate. Community matters. You are an energetic being, constantly in resonance with your environment. If you spend your time around people who complain, shrink, or doubt, your system starts to vibrate at that level. But when you surround yourself with those who are playing in the quantum field, who are choosing coherence, embodiment, and expansion, your field responds. You calibrate upward. You sync with possibility. So be intentional about your space. Not just your physical space, but your digital and emotional space too. Curate what you listen to. Curate what you watch. Curate who you allow to speak into your field. Because all of it either reinforces your signal or distorts it. And your signal is everything. There is no finish line here. This isn't a journey where you arrive and everything is done. It's a continuous unfolding. A living relationship with the field. And that relationship is shaped by the choices you make moment to moment. Are you choosing from fear or from embodiment? From control or from trust? From lack or from overflow? You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to hold the frequency all day, every day. You just need to know how to come back to it. That's the shift. That's the mastery. That's what separates those who get stuck from those who manifest powerfully and consistently. The most magnetic people you'll ever meet aren't trying. They're being. Their coherence is felt. Their presence is clear. Their frequency is stable. And the field bends to them. Not because they're special, but because they've practiced alignment until it became their default. And that's available to you. It's not out there. It's already in you. Because the truth is, the quantum field is not separate from you. It's not a machine you control. It's not a force you manipulate. It's something you're entangled with. You are the observer and the observed, the wave and the witness, the field and the frequency. When you shift, it shifts. When you align, it responds. When you embody the version of yourself who already lives the life you want, the field has no choice but to reflect that life back to you. So let's bring it full circle. You don't manifest what you want. You manifest who you are. Not in your thoughts alone, not in your words alone, but in your being, your presence, your breath, your baseline. And when you begin showing up as that version, even before the world gives you proof, you become the gravitational center of a new reality. This is not about pretending. It's not about tricking the universe. It's about anchoring into the truth that you are already enough, already powerful, already worthy. And when you live from that truth, when you broadcast that truth consistently, the field begins to reorganize everything around it. So take a breath. Tune in. What is the one word that captures who you're choosing to be from this moment forward? Is it power, trust, freedom, wholeness? Let that word be your signal. Let it be your anchor. Let it be your return point when the old timeline tries to pull you back. You don't have to chase anymore. You don't have to fix or force. You just have to become the quantum frequency, and the field will follow.